After the never-ending winter we seem to have in Ireland, conditions here are absolutely perfect for this, the Cartel.ie International Rally of the Lakes. This is the third round of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. The Rally of the Lakes is firmly established as one of Ireland's premier rally events, and this year is hosting its 39th running. The route stages are the most famous classic ones available in and around Killarney, and these demanding, technical and challenging stages should test each competitor to their fullest. The weather was playing ball for the two-day rally, and a big crowd was on hand in Killarney town as the cars went over the ramp for the ceremonial start, where we caught up with some of the leading contenders. Noel Sullivan in the car with you this weekend. Carl Atkinson steps out, so it's a learning curve for you, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think Noel will be well fit for it. There should be no issue there. He's from Killarney as well, which is great. So, yeah, big push on, and we'll see how we get through the first one.
Moffat is the defending champion and the 2017 Irish title holder. In fact, he won in the Kingdom on 2 occasions and will be looking for his first win of the 2018 season. The Subaru Impreza World Rally car of Donegal's Manus Kelly will be a real contender this weekend. Twice a winner in his native county, Kelly is making his first visit to the Kingdom. Desi Henry was a non-finisher in the last round, the Easter stages, and is one of the leading R5 contenders.
We know we've got the pace. Obviously this is a fairly new rally for us as well, but we've made a good set of notes, and I've got a local navigator, so we think we should be on the money.
Daniel Cronin is the younger brother of Keith Cronin, a 4-time British Rally champion. He's shown in the opening 2 rounds that he can handle the R5 Fiesta. Johnny Greer is also making his first visit to the Kingdom in an R5 Fiesta. The R5 cars and drivers are the only ones that can garner championship points. As we caught up with Richard Laheath of sponsors Cartel.ie, their 9th year as sponsors.
Every year it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We've a great field entry there this year. So yeah, delighted to be part of the rally and delighted to be title sponsor for the 9th year.
And if the rally is to run smoothly, a lot of responsibility rests on the clerk of the course, Dermot Healy.
This is my 6th year, and safety is priority, always has been by priority, and I should hope the plan we have in place is very good, and please God we could be back here Sunday evening with every car all safe and sound.
And this is what the drivers face on day 1 of the 2018 Rally of the Lakes. 8 stages to be run. The first stage is the traditional run up Malls Gap, followed by stage 2 Healy Pass, which is also stage 5 on day 1. The first service is in Castletown Bear before stage 3, which is at Cod's Head, which is also stage 6. Stage 4 is Ardgroom up the western seaboard, and the second run over Ardgroom is also stage 7. And as we move back towards Killarney and the overnight halt, the final run, stage 8, is over the picturesque Kilmacalogue. The fans will wait in the mist and fog at the top of the iconic Malls Gap stage. But down at the start line, it was dry and clear as the competitors waited to tackle the first of 16 stages on this year's Rally of the Lakes. And over the opening 5 stages, it was the Ford Fiesta R5 of Dubliner Robert Barrable that took the early lead, opening up a 23.7 second advantage. Barrable has taken 3rd place points behind Josh and Sam Moffat in the opening 2 events on the West Cork and the Easter stages. To have a chance of winning the series for the first time, surely he had to take maximum points here in Killarney.
100. 6 right, tightens over crest, okay. Into 6 left. 80. 6 right into 4 left plus 40, keep right for 3 left.
Damien Connolly calling the notes for Barrable as he buzzed into an early lead. Barrable's made the switch from the Hyundai i20 of the 2017 season to get behind the wheel of a Fiesta R5. The car seems much more to his liking, and Barrable was in the groove early on. The World Rally cars cannot collect championship points, but they can win individual events, as witnessed by Donna Kelly, who won round 1. Donna Kelly was missing from the starting cars this year in Killarney, and it was the Impreza of Donegal's Manus Kelly who slotted into second place after the opening 5 stages, almost 24 seconds behind Barrable. Manus Kelly has won the last 2 Donegal International Rallies. He'll be back to defend that title in June of this year.
Press, 3 left, very fast, 3 left. Short 4 right, very fast. Jump, 170. Absolute 3 right, get in. Don't lift, 150. Absolute 2 left, get in. 150. And then a 3 left. Braking, only 40 over the crest for a very long 6 left.
The second World Rally car competing in Killarney was the Subaru of 2-time champion Derek McGarity, but with brake and clutch problems early on, the Veterans Rally of the Lakes ended at the end of stage 4. Third and second in the R5 category was the Skoda Fabia of Desi Henry. Henry was so disappointed not to have finished round 2 of the Tarmac Series, the Easter Stages Rally, so he would have been pleased with his opening 4 stages in Killarney. Henry and co-driver Liam Moynihan 43.7 seconds off Barrable and 23 seconds behind Manus Kelly.
And you hit the next corner, flat 5 right, 100 top, you hit it. Big watch, late 4 left staying, you hit it, staying in it. Late 80, 5 right, 30, 5 left half long times 4, and if you didn't stay left for 3 right in. 4, stay left for 3 right in, over crest 30 down. 3 left minus staying, 3 left minus staying into 3 right, 60 down. 2 left falls away all day, 2 left falls away all day.
Surprisingly, Sam Moffat's Fiesta was 56.7 seconds off Barrable after 5, the defending champion saying he was doing nothing different, just that he had no answer to Barrable's pace. Sam has a new navigator in Noel O'Sullivan beside him this weekend, as regular co-driver Karen Atkinson wasn't available.
Six left, 6 right, 80, 6 right again, middle on this crest, hold, right on crest flat, 6 left, 8 here, mid on crest 130, 5 right minus, hold in, 5 left, right on crest, long flat, 6 left over crest, 80 crest and 6 left, 65 left here, 4 right plus, 4 right plus, 130 to the top.
Some great in-car action there, as through on this lunar landscape came the R5 of Daniel Cronin. Cronin's competing on his first full Tarmac Series, and having made a promising start, Cronin wouldn't see out the day, retiring before the end of day 1 of this year's Rally of the Lakes. Johnny Greer, who was competing in the Kingdom for the first time, was actually ahead of the series leader Josh Moffat in his Fiesta by 5.6 seconds. Greer took a little while to get used to the stages, and tyre choices for all the crews was problematic at times. Josh Moffat came into Killarney as the series leader, collecting maximum points in West Cork and on the Easter stages. But it was a poor start for the Fiesta driver. His brake problem saw Josh in 7th overall, 1 minute 38.4 seconds behind Robert Barrable. Even at this stage, with 11 to run, Josh Moffat would have to go some to climb up the leaderboard. Monaghan Stephen Wright was in 8th place after 5 in his Fiesta. By his own admission, it's been a frustrating start to his Tarmac season, as he's found himself off the pace of the leaders in the early part of the 2018 season. He'd be depending now on the misfortune of others, perhaps, if he was to move up the leaderboard. The Hyundai i20 of 5-time champion Eugene Donnelly seen plenty of action this season outside of the Tarmac Series. The car was raced in the first round of the British Series by Keith Cronin, where it finished 3rd on the Pirelli International. Donnelly was 9th overall after the opening 5 stages in Killarney.
Dip in the jump,
and stay middle over big crest and middle over the next one as well. All the way 60 for tight flat to right. 60.
Here's our rally leader, Rob Arable. Things are going well for you out there.
Yeah, most desirable start to any rally I've ever had, like, you know, and we're really happy with the pace. Everything seems to be working well, so yeah, we'll just keep pushing on and see what happens.
And so on to the final loop of stages on day one of the Rally of the Lakes, held in one of the most beautiful scenic areas of Ireland. Stunning scenery embellished by beautiful weather in the kingdom as the fans gather at the Teddy O'Sullivan pub on the Kilmacalogue stage, awaiting the cars to sweep through the stage. Our leader, Robert Barrable, started to develop a clutch problem towards the end of day one, which gave him a little problem getting the Fiesta started. But he found the twisting tight stages much to his liking, and by the end of the day he had actually extended his lead to 28.3 seconds. For the first time in a long time, the Dubliner was in a really good groove.
Forward continues, into long, 4 left, tightens, to 3 left, 40, 6 right, into 4 left, 2 right over crest, and 2 left.
Manus Kelly's World Rally car has a much bigger horsepower than the R5's, and the Donegal driver would have to be content though at the end of day one, second overall behind Barnable, with the faster stages to come on day two.
And then care, 5 left over crest, stay left of it. Stay left of it, a sudden 5 right, don't cut it. And a 4 left, don't cut, crest and a sudden square right. Crest now and a sudden square right, don't cut it. Absolute 2 left, do not cut. 100, 1 left, and carry 2 right over bump narrows and a 3 left, and then a 5 right at the pole. It's very long. You'll see the 5 right. It's very long, get in.
Desi Henry held on to third place and second in the R5 category after the opening 8 stages, 45.5 seconds off Barrable. Henry knocked in some consistent times over the day, and he and co-driver Lee Moynihan would be more than pleased with their overnight position.
Into 6 left over crest, and a flat 5, 4 right, 80, flat 6 right over crest, 60, flat right over long crest, you have 20 in late, 4 left off, over 6 crest. Keep into me a small bit, flat 5 right, 100, flat 5 left the sign, 40, crest in into 5 left plus half long, leave a crest 4 left, crest 4 left, back 20 up 3 right.
Sam Moffat finally got going on the final loop of stages and ended the day 4th on the standings and 3rd in the R5 category, 1 minute 8.1 seconds off the leaders. Sam really found the pace of Barrable, and indeed Henry ahead of him hard to match, and the 2017 Lakes winner was at a loss to explain why he couldn't keep up.
Jump and flat mid over crest dip, 80, 5 right, 200.
Johnny Greer had slipped to 5th overnight in the Fiesta and was now 2 minutes and 5 seconds off the lead. It would be a case of consolidation now for Greer as we headed into day 2. Despite 2 visits to service in Castletownbere, the brake problems continued for Josh Moffat and the Fiesta. The championship leader was caught in no man's land somewhat, 2 minutes, 36.6 seconds off the lead, and with no chance now of picking the 3rd maximum this season. Another of the R5 competitors was Keith Lyons, who was still getting used to the ex-Joe Connolly Fiesta. It would be good to see Lyons in the mix further up the leaderboard, and overnight he was 9th, but over 8 minutes off the top. While Joe Connolly himself couldn't resist the lure of Killarney and was back in a Philip Case Rally Sport Hard Fiesta R5. He'd no illusions about his rightful place in the pack and was 10th in the R5 at the end of 8. Not such a good end to the day for Stephen Wright, though, who hit a stony bank on stage 7, which cost him big time. Wright would rejoin the event under Rally 2 rules, but he dropped well off the leaderboard. Though 8 stages down on this year's Rally of the Lakes, it's Robert Barrable who's got a 28.3 second lead for the World Rally car of Manus Kelly, 3rd Desi Henry, ahead of Sam Moffat and Johnny Greer. It's been a heck of a day for Dubliner Robert Barrable, leading the Cartel.ie International Rally of the Lakes. Can the Moffats and the Henrys of this world catch them? We'll have to find out. Join us for day 2 after this break. Welcome back to part 2 of the Cartel.ie International Rally of the Lakes. This is the leader. Can he keep it going? He's got clutch problems. Rob Barrable starts day 2. But before we kicked off the action, we caught up with television presenter and car nut Quentin Wilson, who was over from London once again for the Electronomous Car Tech Summit and the Rally of the Lakes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real landmark event, isn't it? The Cartel Rally of the Lakes. I mean, we're talking, 140 cars, and you've been at it for years and years and years, and it's just, it is a very special event here. And next year is the 40th, so I think you've got to come back to that one too.
The opening stage of the day is once again up the iconic Malls Gap, which will also be the setting for stage 11 of the 8 to be run on day 2. Stages 10 and 12 will be run over Ballochbeema, with service back in Killarney. The ultra-fast Brook Hill will be the setting for stages 13 and 15. Kelly's Subaru will really suit here. While Rossanane will be stages 14 and 16, the final stage of this year's event. And with the weather set fair, Rossanane will also be a fast run. The organisers certainly got lucky with the weather over the weekend. Temperatures in the low 20s, a sunny weekend and some breathtaking scenery, with the early morning mist being burnt away by the morning sun as it rolled over the mountains, as we caught up with the overnight leader. New day, Rob. What's the plan?
Still have a bit of a clutch issue, so we're going to surrender a bit of time off the line. We're just going to approach today like we did yesterday and just see how we get on, just try and get into a good rhythm nice and early, and hopefully be here at the end of the day.
Barrable really was in the groove, at one with the car over the weekend, but he felt the clutch issues were costing him a few seconds off the line on each stage, and he'd struggled to keep Kelly at bay as the day progressed, and after 5 on day 2, his lead was now a mere 0.1 of a second.
3 right, 80, 5 right over crest, 100, 2 left in the gap, 40, left over crest, into 3 left, don't cut, 80, right over crest, 60.
Off up Malls Gap went Manus Kelly's Subaru, now closing in on Barrable. He had minor gear selection issues from first to neutral over stages 9 and 10, but the Sunday stages would suit the World Rally car. And by the end of stage 13, he'd closed to within 1/10 of a second of Barrable's lead. Kelly was on a charge, and Barrable was unlikely to hold him off.
Absolute middle over crest for 40, stay right for absolute 3 left. 100, 2 left, carry narrow, 3 left, and at the yellow, absolute 2 right, absolute 2 left, don't left, 1 left, and then left to crest, absolute 2 right, cuts, only 80, up to the 5 right, that's all flat, 2 right now, 80, 5 right.
With the battle for the lead continuing ahead of him, Desi Henry held on to 3rd place in the Fabia and 2nd in the R5 standings. With 3 stages to go, however, Henry couldn't afford to ease back as Sam Moffat was lining up behind him, 21 seconds in arrears. One can see now just why Chris Meek has described the Rally of the Lakes as having some of the best rally roads in the world.
Stay in 3 right, 4 left don't, 4 right, narrow, 3 left, 3 right, 22 right plus at the end, into 2 left plus, 60 up the main now, 2 plus, 3 left minus again here now, 30, 6 left, keep listening now, into 6 right for 60, 3 times to 4, 3 times to 4, 30, 3 left plus.
Sam Moffat was at a loss to explain as to why he wasn't in contention this weekend. He said to anyone within earshot that he was pushing as hard as he could, but that the pace just wasn't there for the Monaghan ace, and his thoughts about winning in the Kingdom were now gone, and consolidation was the name of the game with 3 stages remaining.
And 5 left hold, cut, 5 right over crest, 60, caution bump, double caution left on crest, 4 right, left on this crest, 4 right, 40, 5 left, 4 right, 3 left plus, 60, 1 right, A.
It's been a good weekend for Johnny Greer and navigator Kirsty Riddoch in the Fiesta, lying in 5th on the overall standings and 4th in the championship points, some 2.5 minutes off the top. Josh Moffat was now just looking to get his troubles on Fiesta to the finish and get as many championship points as he could muster in order to at least retain his overall series lead ahead of the next round in Donegal. Eugene Donnelly admitted he was thinking of quitting at the end of day 1, but he persevered and set some decent times on day 2. With some technical gremlins sorted out from yesterday, Donnelly was happier with the setup of the Hyundai and was testing some new tyres to the limit.
20, and we break for 2 right in the crest. 2 right in the crest and a 3 left tightens here.
See what you did there?
Yeah, 5 right, it's just the tyres. 5 right continues and tightens. 4 left plus, push 100. Keeper 4 right tightens lead.
What's this? Oh,
80 flat left 300.
Eugene, you seem to have dialed it in there. Second fastest R5.
Well, there you go. Imagine what you can do on a Sunday, eh? Our problem is it's taken us too long to get there. Maybe that's the fact of being the years on me, but no, it's very encouraging.
3 to go now as we spoke to a realistic Robert Barrable. 9 seconds between you and the last stage, 6:21 in there. Do you think that's enough to hold him off?
No, I wouldn't think so, John. That stage in there should suit Manus down to the ground. I don't know what he did, but I'd imagine he took a good bit of time out of us there, so it's going to be just trying to keep the pressure on him and go from there.
For Manus Kelly, the victory was now in sight with 3 stages to run. You're in a good position now, Manus, aren't you?
Hell, we'll keep taking a stage at a time. There's a long rally on it yet, so we have to just keep it measured and see how we go.
Temperatures were soaring on this bank holiday weekend, and while some were making the most of it, others were heading for the shade, or a nice watering hole indeed, as we round up the top 10 here at the Cartel.ie Killarney International Rally of the Lakes. In 10th place in their Ford Fiesta, Joe Connolly and Brian Connolly. 9th, Keith Lyons and Sean Hegarty in another R5 Ford Fiesta. David Guest finished 8th overall and took the honours in Group N in his Mitsubishi. We'll have more action from Group N and indeed the rest of the classes in our next programme. In 7th place, and well happy with that position too, Eugene Donnelly and Mark Kane in the Hyundai i20 R5. Not a great weekend for Josh Moffat and Andy Hayes, 6th overall, 5th in the R5 standings, but at least he came home with a haul of championship points. Good weekend for Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick in their Ford Fiesta R5. 5th on the standings, 4th in R5. Sam Moffat pushed as hard as he could, but he couldn't keep up the pace of the leaders. He and Noel Sullivan finished in 4th place overall in their Ford Fiesta. Terrific weekend for Desi Henry and Liam Moynihan in the Skoda Fabia R5, really putting it up to the rest of the Fiestas, and 3rd overall. With only a 0.1 second of a lead going into the final loop, Robert Barrable knew it would be a tall order to hold on for 3 stages. That would suit the more powerful Subaru. He had to settle for the runners-up spot, but does take maximum points for the championship. Manus Kelly took over the lead on stage 14, and with the Subaru really stretching his legs on the fast-flowing stages, took the win with over 28 seconds to spare in the end.
Unbelievable. Like Rally of the Lakes is one of the renowned, iconic rallies, and to win that in your lifetime is absolutely amazing.
Barrable over the ramp with Dad Michael and son Bobby looking on. Well, Robert's brought it home in 2nd place, but winner of the maximum championship points. Delighted?
Yeah, delighted, John. 2nd overall and first tarmac championship points, which is the main thing. So I'm not too sure what it'll do, but I think it'll definitely spoil us up into the contention for the overall championship.
So the top 5, the win for Manus Kelly in the Subaru World Rally Car. Maximum points for Robert Barrable, ahead of Desi Henry, Sam Moffat and Johnny Greer. And these the standings then after round 3. Josh Moffat leads, but he's only got a single point lead now from Robert Barrable, who's 1 point ahead of Sam Moffat, ahead of Johnny Greer, and then Desi Henry. The championship is hotting up. Well, it's been a tremendous international rally of the Lakes. Victory goes to Manus Kelly, the Donegal man, and he'll be in Donegal for the next round, as will Rob Barrable, who's picked up maximum championship points. From all the team till Donegal, bye for now.